Live from the Christian Research Institute in Charlotte, North Carolina, you're listening to the Bible Answer Man broadcast with Hank Hanegraaff. We're on the air because life and truth matter. The mission of the Christian Research Institute is to equip believers to always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you, to give the reason for the hope that you have with gentleness and respect. To join us on air with your question, dial 888-ASK-HANK, which translates to 888-275-4265. For more information, go online to equip.org. And now, here's Bible Answer Man host, Hank Hanegraaff.
Thank you very much, Randy, and another week of broadcast. Thanks for all of you as you tune in and ask your questions. Just mentioned the number to dial, 888-ASK-HANK, numerically 888-275-4265. Our contact information on the web, equip.org, via the mail. It's Box 8500, Charlotte, North Carolina, zip code 28271. And our resource consultant, they are standing by, 888-7000 and the letters CRI. I was looking at the list of people who will be praying at the inauguration coming up in just a few days. One of them, Paula White, the notorious Word of Faith preacher, who famously said that when God begins to speak to you, you can get up and go to the phone because God is telling you to give $68.19 for the next 12 months, which happens to be $818. Deuteronomy 8:18 says that God will give you the power to get wealth. Well, this is faith food or fast food for millions of gullible people around the world. She claims to have a divine visitation in which God gave her a vision of multitudes of millions of people as far as her eye could see. And in that very vision, she says every time she opened her mouth and began to declare the word of the Lord, there was a visible manifestation of the power of God. Souls were saved, the sick were healed, and the broken were restored. When she was silent, however, people began to fall into utter darkness. The message that she had to loudly proclaim was that God does not want us to live in poverty or lack, for He wants you to be prosperous. Indeed, says Paula, God wants you to have it all. And to have it all requires the sowing of seeds. So says Paula, for the next 12 months, I'm sowing $68.19 based on Psalm 68:19, that daily God will load me up with benefits. The magic in the numbers is breathtaking. Paula goes on to say 68:19 times 12, as I just mentioned, equals 818, and then she uses the pretext of Deuteronomy 8:18 to make her point. But what's more astounding about this is how many gullible people find merit in White's message. On one occasion, White actually said that she was in prayer and fasting. She was seeking God when the Almighty spoke to her, saying, challenge the people to give $66.12 according to Psalm 66:12. And then she promised her devotees the word cannot return void. When you put your faith in the word, then you have mandated results. And like other faith teachers, her formula for success involves speaking right words and thinking right thoughts. Speaking of the power of words, she says, oh, come on, Paula. Are you actually saying that just because my mouth says something that makes it true? Well, she answers her own question by saying, I'm here to tell you, yes, That's exactly what I'm saying. Your words create your world. And our justification is that if God can create something out of nothing, and we're created in His image, then if we can imagine it or image it, then so it can be for us. And she garners support not only through claims of revelations and visitations and prophecies, including, by the way, the prophecy that a child would be saved by a 13-foot angel, but through specific claims of prophetic healings. Her healing claims rival those of Jesus Christ Himself. And according to White, she has seen everything from the blind receiving sight to resurrections from the dead. Tragically, the devil's in the details. To date, she has not provided even basics to buttress her boasts, but her fame continues to spread from the church in Florida that she decimated to what she started now in New York, and now she's going to be featured in the inauguration. Many other sad things in the Christian faith could be mentioned, including Calvary Baptist Church, formerly Southern Baptist, left the Southern Baptist Convention back in 2012, has now hired a married lesbian couple to lead the congregation. One of the women, interestingly enough, Sally, was an associate minister at Greenville Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. And they hold to a whole variety of beliefs. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you believe. You can be an atheist, an agnostic, a Buddhist, a Christian, a Hindu, a humanist, a Jew, a Muslim, a pagan, or something else. And now they had this historic church in Washington, D.C. The church is in a dreadful state. And we are called to be light in the midst of the darkness.